and welcome to More to Space Than Air. Today with me, I have Dr. Taiwo Tejumola, who is an assistant professor of space systems engineering at the International Space University, ISU, in France. In this role, he teaches and researches on innovative and need-tailored applications on Earth using space systems with associated terrestrial infrastructures. He is also the discipline lead for the Space Systems Engineering discipline of ISU's interdisciplinary MSc in Space Studies program. Prior to joining ISU, he was a research associate at the Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan, where he worked on the design, development, and operation of small satellites. He has held other research and academic roles in the area of space systems engineering at the National Space Research and Development Agency, NASDA, in Nigeria, and the Federal University of Technology, Akure. Dr. Taiwo has a BE engineering degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria, and a MSc and PhD in space systems engineering, both from the Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan. His research and professional interests include small satellites payload development, plasma science, space systems engineering, project management, and vigorously pursuing diversity and inclusion in the space industry for the underrepresented. Dr. Taiwo has also authored numerous publications in international peer-reviewed journals. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Taiwo. It's my absolute pleasure to have you on board to speak to the targeted audience, which are young professionals and industry experts who are currently looking at transitioning from their role into a more relevant role, which is where you come in. I would be asking you to please just give us a little bit of an introduction into who Taiwo is and any other interesting thing you might want to share with us.
Thank you very much, Ayomide. It's a pleasure to join you this afternoon to talk about, space. I think it's a very interesting topic to talk about because space actually is the only field that connects all other fields. So I would say it's the nucleus of global development. So my name is Taiwo Tejumola. I'm from Nigeria. So I was born and grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. So Lagos is just a city on the coastal part of Nigeria. And I would say it's maybe the most vibrant city in Africa. It's a very good place. So you should visit at some point if you have time. So I did my bachelor program in Nigeria and I had earlier career with the Nigerian Space Agency before I went to Japan for grad program. And I'm with the International Space University in France. If you don't know, ISU is the only space university in the world. And when I say that, I mean it's the only university that is focused only on space, being it engineering, science, management, business, policy, and law. So we address all the topics that concern space. So I hope that's useful.
Thank you very much for that. And you mentioned the ISU. I was going to ask you, so what does it mean to be a systems engineer? And what is your role at the ISU? What does your job entail?
Okay, so I am an assistant professor, so I teach master degree students space system engineering. And when I say space system engineering, it's really very broad. So how to design systems, how to test the systems, how to validate the systems, and how to operate the system, and more so how to use the data from this system. So I teach these very broad topics, and I also do research in development of space payloads. So currently I have a joint research with the University of Stuttgart, where I'm working on development of plasma instrumentation. So I mean, this is part of my grad program in Japan. So in Japan, I've worked on different two satellite projects precisely, and I was actually the project manager and the lead system engineer for one of the projects. So yeah, I just yeah, basically that's what I do.
Thank you very much.
And apart from that, yes, I mean, grading and evaluation, I mean, it's a very important process of the teaching profession. Yeah.
How relevant is space system engineering, and what, in your view, is the emerging use cases to the development of this area, particularly as it relates to Africa?
Yeah, so yeah, everything you see, actually, everything you see, your computer, your mobile phone, your earpiece, everything, your controller, it's a system. So, but when we talk about space system, it's more about the system that have to operate in space. So it means that this system must be highly reliable, and for this system, maintainability is about zero. We cannot maintain this system. After we launch them, they have to survive. They have to operate. They have to be okay. Anyways, maybe for 5 years or for 15 years, as the case may be. So gaining skill in space system engineering is really very important, in the sense that this skill can be applied in all other fields of engineering. So, for example, in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, material engineering. So I think for developing country like Africa, it's really important to, have this very broad view about education, in terms of how we want to see what we want to train people about. So I'm not saying that if you're an electrical engineer, you are not relevant, because eventually what we are talking about in space system engineering is the fusion of all of these other engineering disciplines. So I had my training in electrical electronics engineering in Nigeria. So this training definitely has kind of gave me the bedrock, the kind of prerequisite, the kind of foundation for what I'm doing today. So I think, yeah, space system engineering is really very important. And also, if you look at, you mentioned use cases. So, yeah, I think it's we are coming up in Africa and other developing countries, but it's very important that when we want to say, okay, we want to establish our space program, we want to establish our launch facilities, and we want to really build satellites, how many system engineers do we have? This is very important. So I think we need to think about how to really develop capacity and train people to have these unique skills.
Rightly, that we need to develop people and also train capacity in the field.
Yeah.
But how does one develop competency in this area? Because it might seem like it's a bit maybe too niche, or probably needs some certain qualifications for advancement in the area. So how does one develop competency?
Oh, okay. I mean, I will just use my case. So I had a bachelor degree in electrical engineering. And yeah, I understand that in places like Africa, we don't have many faculty or institution dedicated to space system engineering training. Yeah, but it's very important to upskill, kind of, to improve what we do. So, I mean, like many universities in Nigeria, for example, they started, incorporating system engineering into the curriculum. I mean, this is a way to start. So you start by introducing system engineering as a subject, as a course in maybe the fourth year or the third year. Yeah. Then we can learn we can improve the process and learn how to really maybe establish a department of system engineering. And establishing space system engineering department does not mean that we will hire astronauts to come and work there. No, it means that we will bring colleagues from electrical engineering, colleagues from civil engineering, colleagues from mechanical engineering, because space system engineering is actually all of these departments together. So if you have a department of electrical engineering, computer engineering, software engineering, you can actually connect all of these departments and establish space system engineering. So it's not really like something that is out of reach. It's really something we can do. But I think also it's very important to be open about this, because I know people don't like to accept change. Like, okay, let's do something new, So I think establishing and upgrading what we do, it's very important, and we can eventually, get to have a department of space system engineering and really do space. It's really not impossible to do.
Thank you for that. I think we've actually come to the crux of the conversation, which is people wanting to hear from you about your own experience, certain obstacles that you've had to face, and how you've been able to also develop competency in the field that you practice in. So my question to you is, what will you consider important for the young professionals coming into the industry to know? And how do you, what's the best fit for them, in your view, for them to develop competency, particularly for those interested in space systems engineering?
I'll be a bit biased because I work in a university. So I think maybe throughout my life, since I've been like maybe 18 years, I have spent 80% of the time in universities. So I would say it should be education. So people need to be eager to get higher education. So if you have a bachelor degree, for example, in electrical engineering, so it's not enough. So I would say you should go ahead and, try a master degree in maybe system engineering, in electric propulsion, in maybe mechanical engineering for space, or aerospace engineering, or astronautic, or there are so many areas that we can touch that space system engineering can contribute to space system engineering. So I would say it's education. So if you're a young person and you want to be space system engineering, people sometimes say, if you, how will you advise somebody to be like you? So I think nobody can be like me, because we have unique stories. We have unique parts in our lives. So I think there cannot be somebody who will come from Nigeria, who grew up in Lagos, who was born by my mom and my dad. So it's really very unique. So but I think what is common to every one of us should be, upgrading our skill, getting higher education. Higher education is very, very important. But it's just advice, but it's not always the means to an end. I'm not saying that if you don't have higher education, you will not, you cannot make it, or you cannot be someone in life. But I think it's a good point. So I will say, for people from developing country, higher education is very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you. And on that note, I would like to ask if you have any concluding remarks.
Yes, thank you very much. I think so. I don't know if my story is peculiar, but yes, I think I'm doing my bit, and I will hope that everybody do or contribute to improve what we do in space development, because we really have so many social development issues now, challenges, problems, earthquake, sustainable development, climate change. And space is actually a very unique tool to solve all of these problems. So if you are a data analyst, you are a civil engineer, your role is very important. You have a role to play. You have, there is a unique niche for every discipline. So I think, people should do their best. And I mean, also for young people in Africa, I mean, I like to talk about this. Citizenship is it's a point, of course. So I see many young people in Africa, they talk about being astronauts, be this, but it's really more than that. It's more than just having the dream, because there are so many barriers in quotes. But this barrier should not be, what we focus on. We should try to improve ourselves, which is very important. Try to upgrade our skills. Then I think some of those barriers can be leveled. We can level some of those barriers, but still, it's good to dream. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that succinct summarization of all the points that you've made earlier. If people would like to connect with you or connect to you rather, what is the best way to connect to you?
Okay, so I have a LinkedIn account, so you can find me on LinkedIn. I think it's the best way. So, and yes, I think that's the only platform where I'm very active.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Not
Thank you very
Facebook.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prof. With that being said, I would like to show my sincere appreciation to you for making time out to speak with me today. I know that it's very hard to find you and to actually get a moment alone with you, because you have so much work, projects in the works as well. So from us at Multispace and Air, we would like to appreciate you for taking time out to speak with me. And if you have any comments, suggestions for myself or Professor Taiwo, please don't fail to reach out to us via LinkedIn or on our platform, multispaceandair@gmail.com. Thank you and have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.